a ton of snow that's melting, okay?
Hey, this is a beautiful view too. The snow, it's gorgeous, like a winter wonderland.
Yeah, it can be. When you don't shove all of winter into 3 weeks, it's pretty cool. But we just got wailed on in like a 3.5 week period.
Okay, so welcome everyone, our guest. Welcome to Collective Sessions, District 52. We have a special guest today on the show. He is a global visual artist, an artist whose journey marks an unprecedented step towards new possibilities for artists to thrive within the dynamics of today's art world. For over 2 decades, that's a long time. For over 2 decades, he has been birthing his artistic visions. He's emerged in the early 90s as the man behind a successful brand of high-end women's shirt designs. In 1999, he made a smooth transition as a dynamic painter. 14 years later, inspired by a deep passion to continually push his artistic capabilities, he has participated in 12 major group museum showings throughout the United States and Europe. His showings have been in partnership with highly regarded museums, including the Smithsonian Institute, Oakland Museum, Longmont Museum, Michener Art Museum, and El Museo Americano. Anthony Liggins has representation by Studio 88 galleries in Atlanta, Georgia, and Miami Beach, Florida, and alongside notable galleries throughout the world. His pieces are available in Nice, Matin, France, Istanbul, Turkey, Bogota, Colombia, Atlanta, Georgia, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Illinois, and other markets. His work is represented in over 2,100 public and private collections around the world. Anyway, Anthony Liggins, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's wonderful to have you on the show. Well, let me tell you a little about our guest. Aliyah Sarfraz is going to moderate the show tonight. She ran for state representative in Chicago, Illinois. You have Anna, who's a panelist. She's also part of the Green Party, and she has worked on different campaigns throughout her career. And also she is an attorney.
I'm not an attorney.
Okay, you're not an attorney? I thought you were for some reason.
I am not.
Okay. And then we have David Rich. He is also a part of the Green Party, and he has an extensive background in political science, political affairs, and he also has his own radio show called Reality Radio out of Chicago, Illinois. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So tell the world who you are. Who are you, Anthony, and where are you from? And
Well, I'm from Hampton, Virginia originally, and then I went to school at Delaware State for a couple of years, realized that I was a little ahead of my times creatively, so I took off and went to London for a couple of years and studied at the American College in London, and then fast forward fashion industry for 12 years between New York and Atlanta, and decided that I wasn't being fulfilled spiritually by the fast moving driving force of the fashion industry. And I started painting, and obviously that was 1999 when I switched gears. And the world is in a very interesting place, and like all of us, we're trying to define destiny and do spiritual enlightening things to make the world a better place with kindness, love, and inner peace and enlightenment. So I just look at myself as a messenger. I called the book The Spiritual Warrior because all of us, are looking for that path of fulfillment and enlightenment towards the life. And all of us have special skill sets that we use to be instrumental, hopefully, in stirring people towards that. So I do it through art. You know, I'm an abstract expressionist. You know, it's really about how the art transcends and it speaks to people's mind, body, and spirit, and bring a special spiritual manifestation of inner peace and enlightenment through color.
That's wonderful. Leah, you want to take over the show?
Okay. Well, thank you, Anthony, for being on our show. And I do want to dedicate our feature of you being our Black History Month artist. We feel it's so important to acknowledge the contribution of Black artists as well, and the journey and the expression of feelings and what they wish to communicate in a different form. And I believe that art is very expressionistic. And I've taken the time to go through your book, learn more about you. I'm just going to read something from here. Morning bird. You are the morning bird that sings to my heart tears of joy. A heart that needs your smile when I wake up, to remember throughout the day a dream of you. You are the river that pours deeply within me into life. You have seen the light that takes me to another place. You are the morning bird that flies away. You are the blood that flows in me, the silence of my dreams that lets me be. Come to me, my love, don't run, come closer so we can become one and fly like the morning bird. And then obviously that's a commentary by Anthony Liggins. So, I mean, I just find it fascinating that even if I trace the history of Black artists, I feel like a lot has been said and communicated through art. And I want to use your commentary and analysis to talk about what you feel art can and has done within the United States over the period of time. Anthony.
Well, you know, a lot of us have different platforms in how we express ourselves. And I think it's very important that we have a narrative that speaks to our audience through a narrative format that kind of, you know, there's different artists. Some artists have shock value. Some artists want to speak peace. Some artists want controversy. And I think it's very, very important where we are in history and time. And it is a challenge, you know, for minority artists in general. It's been an uphill battle to get their voices heard. You know, it's a big world. It's a global world. How do you get your voice and your message through your art in whatever medium that may be heard if you're speaking something that's positive and enlightening? So a lot of it is what you put on the canvas, but also it's the words that you speak and what you represent as a culture to the world.
I have noticed a lot of color in your pieces. Could you just elaborate on what the color does to a person who's onlooking, perhaps?
It's really about fulfillment, bringing a sense of joy. When people see certain colors, it stimulates the senses. It kind of puts you in a certain mood and a certain mindset. And I think when a person walks into their, if it's their home or a private space, they want things that kind of make them feel good. Look, when you walk out of your home or your office, you walk into a world, there's so much coming at you. You see so much. So I try to do things. I'm not saying that everything I do is color, but I do work in color because my background is in color theory. When I was a fashion designer, I used to do beautiful monochromatic color stories. And so I tried to incorporate that into my artwork that kind of speaks a certain language and energy that people can react to. And I think that's one of the things that has been a part of my history from the beginning into where I'm at today. The colors really speak to people. It doesn't matter what's going on in their life, they want an escape. I think art should be an escape, and it should speak a certain language through its creative process and through its colors, it kind of speaks to you and kind of take you on your own journey. I create it. It becomes, once you buy it, it becomes a part of your world and your experiences to share with your friends and your family members. And hopefully it takes you to a positive, enlightening place.
You talk a lot about spiritualism and being a warrior. I want to know how you've encapsulated that, or whether that was part of your journey in becoming an artist, or what art can do. Do you mind elaborating on that for us?
Yes, I study Eastern philosophies, and one of the ones that I study is called Wabi Sabi. It teaches you to see beauty in imperfections. And also the Dalai Lama, I follow a lot of the teachings of being humble, becoming oneness with mind, body, and spirit to speak to the world, almost a messenger. But I do it through art, touching people, taking them on a journey, the words, the poetry that is a part of that process. It's not just the paint hitting the canvas. It's what happens and what's transported before that. It's the music, it's the dance, it's the spiritual connection with God kind of comes across on the canvas and people connect with it. And that is my gift back to the world. As you do as a commentator, what a poet does, what other creative people do, I think you can't deny it, that it's God's master plan. You have to decide if you want to be a part of it. He speaks to you and he gives you these unique gifts, and you decide if you want to share it with the world. And don't forget, it's not about me, it's about we. We do to make an impact and make a difference through our creative expressions, through our unique gifts that's been given to all of us to make an impact, to make the world a better place. And it's not domestically, it's not nationally, it's globally. What global language can we speak to unify the world, to make it better? We all been through tough times. We have lost loved ones. So what can we do on our platform each and every day to make the world a better place for all mankind?
That's just phenomenal. I love the philosophy behind your art and the level to which it speaks. So you haven't identified any specific audience. You're speaking God in God's language into a larger group of people, which then gets touched by your art. So I really appreciate and thank you for your time here. I'm going to let the other two panelists pick your brain a bit, and let's see what they have to ask or what they see within your pieces.
Okay, thank you.
I'll take it over to David.
Hey, hi. It's good to be back. It's been a long time since we've been on the air. Anthony, thanks for coming on the show. It's very refreshing to actually be able to interview an artist. Not that it's bad, but we get very political, very economic, and talk about a lot of things. But when I first heard an actual artist was coming out, I got really excited. Art has been something that's been very important to me my whole life since I was a kid. I always loved graphic imagery and that kind of thing, and the fantasy of it all. Like you said, an escape. I'm also a certified horticulturalist, so I plant gardens. I understand the power and the reasoning behind like color configuration, what kind of feelings and emotions it can provoke in people. I think that's very cool. I love that. But I've always, my whole life growing up, mostly my adult life, I've been surrounded by people who are philosophers on the side of logic, philosophers who are on the side of like intuition. I've had artists and all sorts of people in my life. Very few artists that I've met some very interesting artists, but have been that deep in their articulation of what their art means to them and everything you just expressed. A lot of people just kind of, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but some of the people I've known in the past will paint something, they'll show it to me, I'm like, oh, that's great, what does it mean? Yeah, man, you know, they just don't really have any sort of like conscious understanding of what they just put on the canvas, which is fine. Art is very intuitive. And that's one of the beauties of art, is it really shows you like the direct relationship between intuition and creation. Which I think art is a very valuable thing for people to learn. It always breaks my heart when I hear that schools want to get rid of the art programs. It's devastating. They want to prioritize science and logic and math over the arts. I think they're both very complementary in a lot of ways. The world is both artistic and beautiful, and it's logical and mathematical. So it's just it's very interesting. And so I just want to ask you, let me end with a question. When you were growing up, with these sort of these things that you just expressed about why you do the art, were these things formed? Did you have the seeds planted as a child? Did they come on later in life? What's your background before you really got into doing what you do now? More as a child, like.
I was a musician in high school. I was a percussionist, and I used to play in the church choir. So yes, I do have a very strong spiritual background. Both of my parents were heavily involved in the church and ministry and things like that. And then I went out into the real world, and I realized that was the foundation and the platform for my life. And what I was always went back to that. I never lost track of my spiritual foundation that my parents instilled in me. And then I went on to study other philosophies, as far as wabi-sabi, other great philosophers, and they're about stillness and great possibility. In wabi-sabi, you can sit and have in an ancient tea ceremony. You sit there in front of a person and you drink tea and you don't speak. All you do is have one-on-one of a peaceful, mindful experience without speaking, meaning that the unknown and the unexpected is fulfilled because you are listening and you're taking it all in mind, thoughtfulness, and becoming one, that ancient ceremony. And that goes back to a philosophy. You can look it up, called wabi-sabi. It's based out of Japan. And it's a beautiful experience. And it teaches you to see beauty in imperfections. And to me, abstract is imperfections, because there's a rawness and there's a movement and a flow of energy of color in paint when it hits the canvas. And it's not always perfect. Matter of fact, it's never perfect. And it doesn't always come out the way I want it to, because it's a manifestation of energy and spirituality. The music is flowing, and there's a experience that transpires and happens. Sometimes it can be frustrating, but I have to realize that that's what transports, and that's what happened when the brush hits the canvas. So yes, I grew up with a very strong spiritual foundation, and I've never really gotten away from that. But I also realized when I switched from fashion to art, I had another way of expressing it, but it was on a larger stage than the fashion runway shows. Actually, it was a bigger audience, because when people see the art hanging on the walls, they always ask the question, why did he come up with that title? What did that title mean? And the reality is, it's not what it means to me, it's what it means to you, because now you're a part of the journey, because the piece is a part of your world. So I am the transporter, I am the messenger. Now it's your turn to take it and reveal it to the world and make it yours, to your friends and your people and the people you want to share it with.
Nice. Very cool.
All right, Anna.
I'm a very strong advocate for the political power in the arts. I feel we've had the Harlem Renaissance in this country, where it was very much the arts that were driving the politics. Or was it the politics driving the arts? It was but it was driving it. It was a driving force, and it became a movement. And to me, creativity is the foundation of learning, of education. So when you're doing your art and you're giving it to the world for them to bring it in their own experiences, to bring it in their own perspectives, and they have a little bit of hope, or a little bit of peace, and a little bit of wanting to do the right thing, being humane, that can come out of your art, and that can hopefully grow those good things in that person just by looking at your art and enjoying your art. But I am interested more in your background too, your childhood. Like, where were you raised? What kind of household were you in? And was college education always there? Did your parents encourage that?
Yes, I was born in a town called Hampton, Virginia. And my parents were, I have two sisters that are psychiatrists. So yes, education was very, very important. And I had a very strong music background. I went to college on a music scholarship initially. And I thought I was going to be the next Prince. and I used to have long, crazy hair. And when that didn't transpire, I had a great gift because my mother was a seamstress, so I learned about fashion, and I could really make clothes really well, and I had a sense of color, and that's why I went in fashion. I left America, went to London, went to Europe for 3 years, and then when I came back and I got married, and when that didn't work out, I said, I don't want to be in the fashion industry anymore. People thought I was crazy. They was like, what do you mean? You got a great name and a career, and you just gonna walk away? I said, I am driven by the passion of woman. I'm very spiritually yoked, and I think a woman has a 6th and a 7th sense that men don't have. I think a woman as president is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to our country. And I've always just had a sense of liberty and loyalty to women. My mother was a very, very important role model in my life. She's a kind mother. She never said we couldn't do what we wanted to do. She said, go for it. I support you 300%. So when I wanted to leave and go to London, people say, you got a music scholarship, you gonna leave that? I said, yeah, I got to follow my heart and spirit. So I went to an expensive school in Europe and had to pay for it because my parents couldn't afford to pay for it. So I borrowed money, it took student loans out. But I always followed my heart and I always beat it to my own drum. So that connection and that platform I always knew it wasn't an easy road. You know, I was a starving artist for a long time. You know, there was times spiritually that I would be like, okay, do I tithe or do I pay my electric bill? You know, I mean, there was times that it was really, really tough. And God always opened up a door and said, I got you. I am stirring this ship. You just continue to follow down the path that I have opened for you. And you probably say, wow, he talks a lot about God. But you know what? The reality is all of us have a different path that we have chose to be where we are today. And this has been my platform. And the work really, really, when you see it, it speaks a global language. Yes, this is Black History Month. I am a African-American based artist. For African-American artists and minority artists in general, it's been an extremely hard path. The percentage of African-American or Latino artists in museums is a very small percentile. That is changing now. But it's been a long fought battle for us to be heard in that platform, because obviously a lot of the curators may not have seen what we see. We're still fighting that today. So it is a fight. It's a positive fight. But for me, it's a global language that's being spoken. My work is not defined by the color of my skin. My work is defined by the creative process and the unique technique that I present on the canvas.
I love that.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me jumping in here, Elliot. First of all, I want you to know, Anthony, that my most favorite musician ever is Prince. So
Cool.
that's awesome. I'm not even kidding. Like, I Prince. And if you had seen me physically, like, I'm very big into heavy metal, so it really throws people that when I say my most favorite band or person ever is Prince, it kind of throws them. They expect it to be Metallica or something like that. Nope, it's Prince. So good for you for striving that high while you were doing music, because it doesn't get much higher than Prince. And so you mentioned about, like, you know, it's Black History Month, you know, about being a Black artist in a community that, or at least in a culture that every area of life has been dominated by white males mostly. And, you know, I heard recently about a female Black poet from the late 1800s who some poet association is changing their name to her name because, you know, Black people historically have not. I apologize for being vague. I just remember that much. But you know, you see the, you know, the Black movement going through all sorts of things, politics, economics, social stuff, but you don't hear a lot about the struggle within the arts. Currently, as you're standing there right now, have you suffered a great deal of discrimination or any such amount of discrimination by being a Black artist in the artistic community, whether it be in fashion? Do we still have him?
No.
No. He'll come back on. Let's see. Yeah, let me call him. What happened? Jeez.
Don't know.
His phone is going straight to voicemail.
I wonder if he knows that he's not on it.
I don't know.
Or if his phone died or something.
Yeah, I'm calling him now. It is. Coño. Well, we might have to.
Do a part 2.
Yeah. Because that was really good. I was enjoying
That
that.
was really good, and I had more questions. I was looking forward to his answer.
Enjoyed that.
That was great. What a cool guy.
See if we can get him back on.
I'm on my radio show.
Okay. Oh man, I think his phone. No.
Oh, that's
That's
heartache right there.
Well, we can reschedule him. It's a great start to
Yeah, we got a half hour
bring
now.
him back on.
Another half hour, so yeah.
I think his phone is off. Jeez. Okay, Aaliyah, what do you want to do?
I think we should just end it there. Let's be respectful, unless we want to continue on discussing art and politics and the possibility of a reparations art piece.
That's true. Yes.
Is a request we're making. I wanted to see if he would be open to that.
Yes.
And the possibility of bringing that into Illinois would be a lovely idea. I also wanted to discuss some of the Confederate statutes and his opinion on that whole sabotage politically and what his feel was on that. But you know, it just ran short, unfortunately.
Very
Well, like I said-
cultured, very awesome, very good person. I love how he just goes with what his heart tells him and makes it happen.
Yeah, I mean, we only need another half hour. If you're looking to just fill up an hour-long program with Anthony, you want to do it just sometime this week, tomorrow or Wednesday or something, or just need a half hour, if that's what you're looking for. makes
Yeah,
sense?
let me check his schedule and then we'll get back with you. Yeah, definitely.
I'm free.
I'll check his schedule. You on your show, or you guys want to do? I like the visual effect of seeing him. I think maybe next time he can be in his studio and kind of take us through a little tour.
Yeah, I would
Wouldn't
love
that be
that
nice?
idea, Candace. We can have him go through the studio and have half an hour just explaining, his thought process in a piece as he's
Okay.
making it. Or even if he's brave and bold enough to start a piece in front of us while we watch,
Oh.
that'd be
Oh
awesome.
my God.
Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh, that would be great. Yeah, I will set that up. We'll see each other soon.
Yeah, all right. Take care,
Okay.
everyone. It was great connecting.
I'll see you soon, Anna and David.
All right. See you
Everyone.
soon.
All right. Okay, love.